Dear comrades and capitalists alike, I have an important but maybe slightly uncomfortable question for you. Why, for the most part, only people who actually seriously consider full-blown socialism or communism are the people who live in democratic capitalist countries, the West? You almost never hear a person from a country from the former USSR criticizing capitalism that is the rocket engine for their countries, improving their everyday lives at a steady pace. In fact, if you go to such a country and approach a person who is old enough to remember the rule of the communists and ask them whether they would be willing to consider overthrowing the current capitalist system that exploits the working class in favor of socialism, well, you would be either laughed at or considered a troll. They have already been there and lived through it. All the books you read on the topic, your higher education, your arguments are no match for their lived experience and memory of empty shelves in stores and political repression. You may have already prepared arguments against that. As Noam Chomsky explained, socialism was quickly and violently destroyed to make way for an authoritarian and repressive regime. Heck, let the great men speak.
We should recognize what I think is true. I've written about it plenty myself, that the Bolshevik Revolution, so-called revolution, it was really a coup, was really a counter-revolution, which placed state power in the hands of a highly authoritarian, anti-socialist group, which within a couple of months had destroyed the factory councils, had destroyed the Soviets, had dismissed the Constituent Assembly because they knew they were going to lose, and had eliminated every popular movement, and had done exactly what Trotsky said, turned the country into a labor army under the control of the maximal leader. That was mid-1918. I mean, since then, there hasn't been a shred of socialism in the Soviet Union. Now, of course, they called it socialism, but they also called it democracy. You know, they were people's democracies, the purest form of democracy. They were socialism. The left, the West, the big propaganda system in the world, of course, just laughed at the democracy part, but it loved the socialism part, because that's a way to defame socialism. So if you think that the fall of the Soviet Union is a blow to socialism, you ought to also think on the same grounds that it's a blow to democracy.
In response to that, I would say to you that as it was then in Russia and in the Eastern Europe, it is also now in Venezuela and, according to some sources, in Brazil, where economic progress was not only stopped but started moving backwards. Socialism is an alluring promise with elaborate theoretical framework, but it doesn't seem to be working that well due to greed, corruption and thirst for power of the people who claim to be the leaders, and the bureaucratic overhead makes it sluggish and not practical. So the question is to you, what do you think the people from countries that have already tried communism or socialism miss? What don't they get? Why they don't want to try it ever again? What problems with communism or socialism might be responsible for largely consistent failures of these systems? And of course the titular question, why only people from capitalist countries where neither communism nor socialism were tried seriously consider introducing these systems? Answer however you like, either by making a video or by writing a comment. I think this is an important question to you, but also to the leftist movement. See you next time.